Hello, welcome back to another episode of K.O.R.L Radio, here with yours truly, Kahari. Now let's just get right into it. We all know what's going on in the world, and it's fucked up. Excuse my French. It is fucked up what's happening. It's very similar to another time when things like this was happening, and we couldn't do anything about it. When the government and or governments or people at power were using their power to do things that they shouldn't be doing, and then lying to the public about it. So there should be outrage. It makes sense why everyone's upset. You guys know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say it here because I'm not trying to catch any heat, but you already know. ICE. Not iced tea, ICE. Grabbing people from work, grabbing people from their homes, grabbing people from anywhere you want to call it. Now, this is what's going on, and what we're seeing in the media is terrible. It's horrible. It's horrifying, and people should take up arms, and people should also stay ready and always be prepared to fight back against a ill regime. But I want y'all to understand, as someone who's been trained in media, there is something happening. Because yeah, you can have guerrilla journalism and things of that nature, but these things are being broadcast on the national news. And I want to point that out because you have to understand the same people that control ICE control the national news. And ICE has been here since, I don't know how long ICE has been here, but I know back when Obama was president, ICE was a thing. I know back when Obama was president, they had detention centers for people coming over the border. All this has been a thing. I feel like the media has ramped up production of the ICE storyline so heavily. Like, for example, there's no reason why I should know who the head of ICE is and know their leader wears a certain type of trench coat and they make weird salutes and things there's no reason for me to know that information, right? Unless the media is trying to spin a story. And I'm not saying the story is right, wrong, left, right, up, down, orange, or black. I'm just saying there's a story being spun because, in the media, stories are only spun if the producer okays it. Stories are only spun if the producer gets information from other people to air it. Stories don't just happen because a journalist wanted to make a story. It's a whole team that makes that story happen. And just like how the media always does, it wants to divide us. It wants us to see an enemy. And if you talk to half the nation, they'll say the enemy is illegal immigrants. If you talk to the other half of the nation, they'll say the enemy is ICE. I want both sides to see that the enemy is your government. Not because the government is out to get you. They are, but that's not the reason I'm talking about. It's a simple reason that no one in my generation has felt represented by their government in the last 20 years. And I think a lot of people, if I said, do you feel represented by your government? I think a lot of people would say no. And I say that because the way our government is run, although it's better than a lot of places in the world, it's not perfect and it's not always just. People keep talking about revolution, we need a revolution. But you know what no one's talking about? What the revolution means. I'm all for getting rid of a government and putting a new government in. What people aren't talking about is what the new government should look like. No one's talking about what they would like the government to start doing. I know people will talk about what they want the government to stop doing, but no one's talking about what the government needs to do. And I think that is why there's no revolution yet, because no one knows what happens next. Me personally, I don't really think you need to have a next. Does that cause a power vacuum? Does that cause people to fight carelessly? Yeah, but that's also Darwinism. Like, that's also survival of the fittest, which, in my opinion, if the world had a little bit more of that, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in right now. I think us all being so ingrained into the internet causes us to forget the fact that we are animals. And there is a survival of the fittest. Hey, if your government isn't helping you survive in the way you need, maybe you should do something about it. I don't think that means you should uproot your government and get rid of it and restart, but I do think there is some conversation to be had, and you need to understand that. But understand also there needs to be work done. You can't just yell for revolution and then not be a part of that revolution. That's kind of where I get irritated, because you hear a lot of people yelling revolution, but no one is actually putting up a plan and understanding what to do. You don't overthrow a government by being angry. You don't overthrow a government by being upset. You don't overthrow a government by posting on Instagram. Like, that is not what you need to do. There are little things that we can do to get there. As you guys know, the current government is, for lack of a better word, shit. For example, I was recently laid off of a job, and my job wasn't a government job, but my job did have a lot of funding from the government. And the funding was because the job was a museum. I was laid off. That museum laid off about 20% of their employees. Now, I'm not blaming the museum. I'm blaming the government. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why we had what we had was because government grants and things of that nature weren't coming into schools around the area. And these low-income schools didn't have the funding to come to see us at our building. That's a lot of... If you have 20 kids, and this is just a low ball. If you have 20 kids in 2 schools, that's 40 kids. And if it costs a certain amount for you to get in, that's 40 times whatever much money it costs to get into that place that you're losing every day. Not like, oh, one school, like multiple pools of schools that weren't able to come because they didn't have any more funding for the education program. That is not okay. For me to lose a job simply based on a lack of funding because of a government that feels like other things are more important is baffling. It's baffling. It's unheard of. It shouldn't be happening. I've been laid off before. I got laid off before because I worked in San Francisco and I worked for a tech company I lived down the street from Twitter. And Twitter got laid off. So it made sense for me to get laid off. But for me to get laid off from technically, like, that's like you working at a library and then the library laying you off because they are lacking funding. That's basically what happened. Like, how you can get laid off from a public entity that's not privately owned and that is literally funded by the state? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I could be on a soap opera about that all day. And I don't want to keep blaming the government because, let's be honest, the government has always been kind of shit. I don't really think the government has ever really represented the people in any era. Ever. Because the government isn't for the people. The government is for business. Our capitalist government is strictly for business. It's for business. We make money trading with other governments. Trading with ourselves. Like, that's how we make money. GDP. That is where I think things go wrong. And we could all talk about the root of all evil is money, but in actuality, like, most things being fucked up in the world is strictly because of money. Or the greed of money, or the need of money, or the want of money. And I've been a person who have made a lot of money, and I've been a person who's made a little bit of money. No matter how much money you have the same issues. No matter how much money you have the same issues. And I say that, first of all, I have the hugest headache because I can't take allergy medicine until Friday because I have an allergy test on Friday. I am dying. Anyway. Money is the root of all evil. And I say that because at the end of the day, money is why our nation is and our world is fucked up. And I'm not saying the dollar. I mean money in general. Like placing value on a rock and then selling it to somebody is insane. And we've been doing that for the dawn of century. Hey, this is more valuable than this. What? How? Why is that more valuable? Oh, because 14 people said it was. Fuck you and those 14 people. That's a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of my face. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, capitalism is crazy because at the end of the day, if we just bartered shit that people actually wanted and needed, I think we would all live better. I bet you we would all live in a community where we all made goods and services for each other to sustain the community. But what if you wanted to grow the community? Why do you want to grow the community? So I can have more resources. Why do you want to have more resources? Is the resources you have not enough? No, I just want more. Greed. Oh, let's make a currency so people can buy resources. Greed. That was the fall of man. Because what the fuck are we doing, bro? I should be able to walk outside of the place that I built with my bare hands because I learned. And that's what I mean. Knowledge is power. Back in the day, you would be an apprentice for free for 10 years just to learn how to be a blacksmith. Why? Because when you became a blacksmith, what would you be able to do? Sustain yourself based on your skill. Now we have to sustain ourselves based on the amount of paper we have in the imaginary bank account. And people wonder why they're unhappy. We don't even get paid $1 a second. We don't get paid $1 a minute. We don't get paid $1 a minute. Can you believe that? We don't get paid $1 a minute. Some people do, but the average person, the average American does not. But every minute of your day, every minute of your time is valuable. If we got paid $1 a minute, we would make $60 an hour. I want y'all to go do some calculations what the fuck $60 an hour comes out to. No, I'm gonna give you 2 seconds. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Now let's say you work a 12-hour day. You're awake for 12 hours. That is $720. If you're doing dollars, that's $720 a day. Fuck it. Let's do 60 times 10 hours a day. No, fuck it. Let's do 8-hour day. That is $500 a day. If you were paid $1 a minute and you worked for 8 hours straight, you would get paid $480 a day. Regular work week, 5-day work week, you would get paid $24,000 a week if you got $1 a minute for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd much rather make that than working 8 hours a day at $19 an hour, which if you break it up, let's say you get $20. Let's say you make $20 an hour. $20 divided by 60, you are making 33 cents a minute. Anyway, I lost the plot. I don't even know why I was talking about that. But at the end of the day, if you want to see change in your government, it starts with change in you. If you want to see change in you, it starts with gaining knowledge about everything. And that knowledge needs to be applied in a healthy way. Because if you're just spewing bullshit on the internet, telling people how they should think and telling people they should care about this and that, but you're not giving a reasoning and you're not giving any help to that, you're just causing more distress, discomfort, and confusion. That's my 2 cents. This was another episode of K.O.R.L Radio with yours truly, K.O.R.L. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all next time.